Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Maida and this is my report for Edu 107 under Dr. Marciano Melchor. RA 10173 or Data Privacy Act of 2012. This is a brief report, so I hope you don't mind. I will be breezing through it. These are the contents of my report. More and more Filipinos are online. Data containing sensitive information are exchanged every second. Introduction. To protect the citizen, the 5th Congress, during the second regular session, passed a bill regarding the regulation and protection of sensitive information of a person. The bill was finally passed in 2012, making it a Republic Act. Definition of terms before we continue. Privacy, the state or condition of being free from being observed or disturbed by other people. Personal data refers to all types of personal information. Personal information, any information which can be linked to your identity, thus making you readily identifiable. Security incident, any attempt or actual unauthorized access, use, disclosure, modification, or destruction of information. This includes interference with information technology operation and violation of campus policy, laws, or regulations. So, what is the Data Privacy Act? It is an act protecting individual personal information in the information and communication system in the government and private sector, creating for this purpose a National Privacy Commission and for other purposes. First, all personal information must be collected for reasons that are specified, legitimate, and reasonable. That's the reason why most websites will ask you. Second, personal information must be handled properly. Information must be kept accurate and relevant, used only for the stated purposes and retained only for as long as reasonably needed. Example, your credit card details. Third, personal information must be discarded in a way that does not make it visible and accessible to unauthorized third parties. These are some bank details, but a lot of banks actually do not follow this. Unauthorized processing, negligent handling, or improper disposal of personal information is punishable with up to 6 years in prison or up to 5 million pesos, depending on the nature and degree of the violation. Application of implementing rules and regulation. The DPA and its implementing rules and regulation, or IRR, apply to all acts done or practices engaged in and outside of the Philippines if the person, either an individual or institution involved in the processing of personal data, is located in the Philippines. The act or practice involves personal data of a Philippine citizen or Philippine resident. The processing of personal data is done in the Philippines, or the act, practice, or processing of the personal data is done by an entity with links to the Philippines subject to international law and committee. The implementing body. The National Privacy Commission, or NPC, is in charge of administering and implementing the DPA. It is also tasked to monitor and ensure compliance of the Philippines with international standards for personal data protection. The major function of the NPC are as follows. 1. Rulemaking. 2. Advisory. The NPC is the advisory body on matters related to personal data protection. 3. Public education. The NPC shall launch initiatives to educate the public about data privacy, data protection, and fair information rights and responsibilities. Number 4. Compliance and monitoring. The body has compliance and monitoring function to ensure personal information controllers, meaning websites and other institutions, comply with the law. It is also tasked to manage the registration of personal data processing systems. Those are the type that you fill out when you are applying to a website or in a bank. Complaints and investigations. Enforcement, especially for those who broke the rules. So who needs to register? Companies with at least 250 employees or access to the personal and identifiable information of at least 1,000 people are required to register with the National Privacy Commission and comply with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So RMC is part of this. Some of these companies are already on their way to compliance, but many more are unaware that they are even affected by the law. Now, because of the COVID, many companies and schools have adapted to the online setting, and a lot of them have to be compliant with the Data Privacy Act. How to comply? The National Privacy Commission, which was created to enforce RA 10173, will check whether companies are compliant based on a company having these 5 elements. You'll need to appoint a data protection officer, conduct a privacy impact assessment, create a privacy knowledge management program, implement a privacy and data protection policy, exercise a breach reporting procedure. So a company must have all these. Mandatory notification and investigation. So what will happen if there's a breach? The law requires a data breach notification within 72 hours upon knowledge of the breach or reasonable belief that it has occurred to the NPC and the data subject. The notification is generally required when the breach involves sensitive personal information or any other information that may be used to enable identity fraud. This information has been acquired by an unauthorized person, and the acquisition is likely to give rise to a real risk of serious harm to the affected subject. Now, in this case, if there is a breach, the company or the website must alert all people involved, including the clients. That way, the clients can go to the bank and make sure their bank is secured, or perhaps they need to change their passwords. The NPC may investigate the breach depending on its nature or if there is a delay or failure to notify. Inquiries may include on-site examination of systems and procedures. Thank you very much for listening to my short report. These are my sources. If you have more questions, you may email me or you can reach me through my Facebook. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again. I hope you enjoyed my report, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.